Good evening, everybody. This is Encounters, the late night spiritual UFO talk show. I'm host CmdrAleon. And of course, we were totally off planet or out of body or something like that. It seems to always be happening. This is the second time. I'm full of energy, though. Totally here. Good to have you with Flower Power. Gary, user 130. Katie, it's nice to something. Lexi, good to have everyone coming in here from all over the planet. Annette Lee, Justin. And yes, we have our apple cider going tonight. Ozzy, Zach, Dirt Road, 69 Stell, Joe Castelli, Breakfast Club, good to see you. Hey, Summer Mason, Carlos V, Deborah, good to have you with us. Everybody coming in here wherever you are. Casey, greetings. For all relatives, happy to see you. Marinette. And yeah, I was hanging out there for a little bit too. And then I came out from being off planet to being embodied and looked at the clock and said, it's time to go on the air. It wasn't 11 p.m. anymore. It was 11:40 p.m. So we're here. Hey, young Skywalker. Thank you for the roses. Hey, Joey. Hello, San Diego. Hey, Calico Girl. Calico. Let's see. Hey, Lacey. Jojo. And all of our shows, the one from last night and the night before, are on our YouTube channel. So if you missed last night's show or the night before, I have a YouTube channel called Aztec Command Spaceship News. You can find our previous shows on that website on YouTube. So no one's missing anything. I think we're going to have a very awesome night. And again, like I'm still getting acclimated from being out of body and getting tuned into where I am here. Nope. Going out of body means going out of body. Usually if you're going to go to sleep and really go to sleep, you'll sleep for hours. So I went out of body somewhere, I'd say after 10 o'clock East Coast. And I just came back from being out of body probably about 15, 20 minutes ago. But that's a little bit different. Many times people go out of body. You're being actually downloaded or taken off planet, but that's a little bit different than consciously going, off planet. Out of body is another way in which you are basically downloading stuff. Hey, Cliff, good to see you, Papa Smurf. I missed 3 hours and 6. Hey, David. David Johnson, I missed 3 hours and 6. And if you're on last night, we had some really good interviews, and the night before, some really good interviews. Tonight, I'm absolutely, hey, Steven, good to see you. MC Michelle, good to see you. Sunshine Girl, good to see you. Hey, Trance, good to see you. Donald Woody, Chip Douglas, Jimmy Z. And just, hey, Cheryl, good to have you with us. Alex says, hey, hello, they take you as host. When you say they take you as host, can you explain? No, I am listening. Go ahead. I am focused on you. Pride Lion. Yes, you have what? Pride Lion. I'm just reading people's comments here. Oh, David Johnson at night. Oh, Pride Lion, you've had a UFO encounter? I think Pride Lion's saying they've had a UFO encounter. Oh, interesting, Pride Lion. Um, you have 15 followers. We need to get you up to 100. So let me just take a look here. Pride Lion. We're going to pin your comment. Pride Lion. Everybody follow Pride Lion, who's had UFO encounter. A UFO encounter. He only needs to have 100 followers to go on live now. It used to be 200. And also, Bad Chad needs about 20 more followers to go on audio. Good evening, Bad Chad. Good to see you. Gordon, welcome, Amy. I'm just focused on the comments right now to see who's got a story that they want to share regarding um, either visitations or contact with space people, UFO sightings that they're documenting. It could be mer people, fairies. It could be the Bigfoot, all those things. And thank goodness I've got a lot of apple cider. Patrick, yes. So Patrick, actually, we're going to bring Patrick up. We're going to bring Patrick Kenny, 800, up as our first guest. Let me just explain how this works. You have to be over 18. You have to have over 100 followers to be a guest instead of 200. I think you still have to be over 800 followers to get video, a live video. No foul language, no drugs, no drinking of any sort, no smoking, no paranormal discussions whatsoever. There's 10,000 other places for that. We're solely focused on the whole subject of the spiritual UFO area, and that covers everything I've mentioned, including the Inner Earth, the Agartha Network, the Cities of Light, all these things. They're all related. So Patrick will be our first guest, and we're going to bring them up right now. And hopefully, let's keep my screen lighter, not darker. Every time I bring somebody up, the screen changes color. Light. It's staying light. That's good. Patrick, good evening. Welcome to Encounters, the number one spiritual UFO talk show. I'm your host, CmdrAleon. Welcome.
Well, thank you, sir.
And whereabouts, Patrick, are you located on the planet?
I'm in Ontario, Canada.
Oh, Canada. Welcome, my friends up north. And tell us your background in terms of when your experiences happened. Can you give some sort of a background for our audience?
Uh, Let me see. It was 1964,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm from the East Coast of Canada, like the Atlantic provinces.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I was 7 years old, and it's like a typical alien abduction.
Oh, the Zeta Reticuli is what they're called. So you were abducted by Zeta in 64.
Uh, the race.
Yeah, well, if they're called Zeta, it's actually nothing. The people use the term gray. It's an Earth-based word, but they're actually from the Zeta Reticuli system. They're Zetas. The big ones with the big heads and everything, they're Zeta.
Yeah, the big black eyes,
Yeah,
and
they're Zeta. Yep.
okay. Anyways, I'll just tell you the story. I'll have to go like a linear conversation, so you'll understand. I'm a little nervous at this time, but
Oh, go ahead.
not
Don't
my
worry.
best. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I was 7 years old, and I lived in a little logging town. There was
Mm-hmm.
only like maybe 50 people in this little valley, and there's like forest all around. So on this particular day, uh, my brother and sister And my neighbor, we were outside playing, and we were just like wondering what to do. So someone suggested we go play in the hay, like a little. It was a barn with a
Mm-hmm.
haystack, and so we go in the barn and climb up the haystack to the top of the haystack, and we start throwing hay at each other. And during the flurry of hay throwing, I tumbled down the side of the hay to the bottom of the barn,
Mm-hmm.
and I tried climbing back up, but I couldn't get back up. And then I heard this like sonic boom outside, so I peered out the barn. It was like little. It would be like the ventilation, like maybe an inch between the
Yeah.
boards. So I just looked out there, and the sonic boom, I just felt it, and I seen this spaceship come down. It came down at
Mm.
like a 45-degree angle, and it just landed in about maybe 150 meters away. And it sort of like made a whirling sound, and then sort of like stabilized, but it was like light all flashing off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when everything settled down, this beam of light came up. This beam of light, excuse me.
The beam of light.
Yeah, a beam of light came out of the side of it, and these three beings like just traveled down the beam of light like they were on an escalator.
Mm-hmm.
And when they got to the bottom, they started going in a circle, and they started like I could hear like a winding noise, like wee sort of noise.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started around the craft, and then when they came out the other side of the craft, they were a little bit bigger. And
Yeah.
then they started floating across the field towards the barn, and I was pretty amazed to see this. And there was one in the front, and there was the other two were on the back of them. Like there's always three of them, right?
Yeah.
And so they just sort of like floated across the field to the barn, and they went around the side of the barn where I couldn't see them.
Mm-hmm.
So I started looking at the cracks of the in the boards.
Yeah.
So I sort of lost them there for a minute, and I got my eye right up to the board, and
Mm.
then boom, like the, the board that I was looking through, like it went completely black.
Wow.
I'm looking straight into his eye.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
So
then,
you were actually right up face to face with this space being, this Zeta.
yep, yes, right close to it as you can get. And then I sort of backed off, and
Mm-hmm.
then they sort of went down into like they sort of changed size or something because like they just came in through the crack like a little
Mm-hmm.
like black looked like little flies sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
They were just like so small, and they started going around like circling around me,
Mm-hmm.
and they sort of held me there, and then they pointed this laser into my eye, went,
Wow.
went straight into my right eye.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't hurt going in, but when they pulled it back out, it hurt like hell.
Why did they shoot a laser into your eye, if I may ask, Patrick?
I would, from my research, I think it was DNA.
Were they trying to pull out samples of your DNA with this laser thing?
Yep. This
So,
is
but
what I figure, yes.
right, as you figured. But why the eye versus any other part of your body?
Uh, well, this is how far they got, right
Mm-hmm.
now.
Mm-hmm.
So so when it so then when it retracted, it like hurt like hell, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I sort of put my hand up to my eye. It was all watering and things.
Mm-hmm.
And then I sort of uh, I sort of felt uh, like a yellow glow around me.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at my hands and turned my hand over and I said, yeah, this is real, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the ironic part. You might get a chuckle out of this. But I said, this is real. I thought to myself, one day I'm going to have to tell the world about this. And here I am.
Right now, here on my show.
Right? Yep. All right, sir.
That's
And
now. So let me ask you. It's a fascinating story about your what happened to you in 1964. When they looked at you eye to eye, did they communicate anything to you? Did a lot of times, many of them, including the Zeta, are telepathic. Did
oh
they
yeah.
say anything? Did they communicate as to why they came to you in '64? What their purpose was? Did they give you any explanation or anything?
None.
None.
No.
No explanation.
So then, I just like with my high watering, they sort of left. So I rushed to the track and I seen them leave,
Hmm.
and they just went back to their ship, and they just like took off the same way as they came in.
Wow.
And then I sort of got up the haystack and I ran to my brother and sister and my friend, and I asked them if they seen anything, right? And they thought I was nuts, of course. So then my eye was like hurting so much. I went to my
Yeah.
mother, and
Hmm.
then I said, "Mom, something put something in my eye."
Right.
She said, "Okay." She said, "Well, show me where they are." So then I took her over to where the spaceship had landed,
Right.
and then we're standing there, and it was just like a big circle of like black, like,
Imprinted on the ground.
yes.
Yeah, it was from the spaceship.
And
Yeah.
and we were there looking at it, and like little puffs of smoke was coming out of it, right?
Hmm.
You understand? And then I heard something like clicking. So I turned to my right. It was like click, click, click.
Right.
And to my amazement, there was the praying mantis. And it was,
You met a praying mantis space being.
yeah, the
Now
praying
that's
mantis.
interesting. Let me stop you for a minute. So you had the Zeta, which did this thing, laser thing into your eye. This is amazing. Then their ship leaves,
Yeah.
and this praying mantis, that being that you saw, how tall was that?
Well, I was just a little guy sort of thing, but
Right.
it was taller than me. It was big with the
It was big.
like just like a uh
So,
the legs were thin, and the
mhm.
arms were thin, and the head of it looked like a triangle sort of thing, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it was moving its head side to side,
yeah.
and then it said to me, "Now you are mine."
The mantis being, after the Zeta, the three Zetas went back on their ship, left your property, went back into space or wherever they went. Then you hear a click, 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 and then you are encountering a mantis.
Yes, sir.
Sarah, thank you. So
And it
when
said
the
to me,
mantis said it said you are mine, what did he mean by that?
I don't know, just disappeared after that.
So wait a minute. So you see the mantis being with your mother, correct?
Yeah, but I don't think she did.
She didn't see it, but you saw it. Okay, so
Yeah.
now how long was it after the mantis said that to you? This tall mantis said this to you telepathically or what have you. Did it leave like within seconds after saying that, or minutes, or how long?
Uh, no, it pretty much disappeared
It
right
just
away.
disappeared. Mhm.
Yeah.
Now this is all in the same time period in 1964, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Now
So you had two,
that was my first encounter. Yes.
first. This is the first encounter.
I've
Okay.
had like maybe yeah, they followed me like until I was like 12 years old. Like probably
Okay.
5 years. 5 years I've had like maybe 10, 12 encounters with them.
10, 12 encounters.
And they
So your
weren't
mother, and as people watching this, this is fascinating. You're in Eastern Canada, the Atlantic coast. This happened when you were a kid in '64, but it was not only the last encounter; it was the first of a number of encounters. So
yeah.
continue on. I'm very fascinated on your story. What now? What happens?
Well, thank you. Uh okay, well, uh the next one was maybe the next day or it might have been
Hmm.
the same day because they just erase your memory like totally.
Yeah, yeah, can't remember what happened.
No, I never
Well,
found
they
out
do.
until
The
like
Zeta do that. Yeah, the Zeta were known for doing that. Yep.
yeah, they got no memory. Like maybe a couple seconds, you sort of after the encounter, but
Hmm.
no, it's totally erased.
Yeah.
And anyways, the next time, I was like, uh, let me see.
But someone was saying, okay, old timer. They're saying, how did you remember anything of the encounter if they erase your memory?
Uh huh. Well, it was 1998, and I was watching the TV, Ancient Aliens,
Okay.
and they were interviewing a person on there, and he said when they came over, the sky was like went like a rainbow because when
Yeah.
the ships come over, they excite the atmosphere so much that it just like it was like a rainbow,
Yeah.
and the whole sky went like overcast, like
Wow.
completely like sunny day. And yeah, I was watching Ancient Aliens, and that triggered my memory. Like I
Hmm.
saw that, right?
Yeah.
When the guy said when they came over, the it looked, the sky just went like a rainbow
Yeah.
colors, and that just triggered my mind. I thought to myself, I saw something like that,
Yeah.
and then I just started remembering it all, every
Yeah.
encounter. Like it just plays over in my head like a tape recorder.
Yeah. And I think that's interesting because Eyes Open says, I think they can't make some people forget all of it. And I think it's true. I don't think every human being is different when they've had abductions back in the 60s or 70s or whatever. I don't think everybody loses or gets all their memory cut out from experience. You know. So yes, so
Yeah,
Deborah
every
says, my friend Deborah, sometimes you get your memories brought back. Something triggers it.
exactly that's what happened to me, and I remember every encounter and every detail.
Yeah.
So the next time was, like I said, maybe it was the same day or the next
Hmm.
day,
Yeah.
and so I was like, just like had this little penknife, like and it, maybe a couple inches long, and I was just like whittling a stick, and
Right.
my brother was there, and we were sitting by the wood pile, and my brother pipes up and he says, "I'm gonna go find some more sticks, right?" So
Right.
so he so he goes like marching across or behind the wood pile like he was a little toy soldier, like
Right.
with his arms swinging and the way he just walked. It's like they
Yeah.
just tractored him out of there, right? And I looked at
Yeah.
him. I sort of thought that was kind of funny.
Hmm.
And then, so I'm sitting there whittling with my little penknife, and I hear this like whooshing coming through the air. So it caught my attention to my right,
Hmm.
and again, the three aliens came down, like just like
The three Zetas that took you the first time when you were a kid in '64 came back.
yeah, but they were like smaller this time. They were like just maybe 3 or 4 feet high,
Hmm.
and so then they sort of just like you know they just sort of like came into being, sort of thing.
Right.
After they
They appeared.
yeah they appeared, then they came in front of me, like maybe 10 feet away from me, in front of me,
Hmm.
and then they said to me telepathically, uh, uh, or I asked them, I said, "Do you want to see my knife?" Right? And I had my knife in my hand, and it just floated towards them.
Hmm.
And then when that happened, they just came to me and just like engulfed me, and I'm just like inside of this like plasma, like really electric.
So let me stop you for a minute. So they come toward you. These three little Zeta beings come towards you, and they go surround you, and you're like inside what you call plasma energy.
Yeah. Well, what how it works is like one goes into the other, and then the third one goes into, and then
So all three of these beings could go into each other and
yeah,
become this plasma energy.
yeah, one goes into the other, and then the third one goes into that one, and then that creates a huge plasma field.
Hmm.
And so I'm inside of it, and it's all like electric, like, and I'm just kicking and waving my arms,
Right.
trying to get out. So they
So you're trying to get. So how old were you then when you got absorbed into this plasma energy from them?
I'm still at 7 years old.
You're
Seven.
7 years old,
Yes, sir.
folks. You're 7 years old. What year was this?
64. I was born in
So,
57.
so all this is still happening in the year 1964.
Yep. As far as I can tell, yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
The second encounter. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So then they sort of like turn my head on a
Mm-hmm.
side, and I don't know if they used a knife, but they sort of like stuck me in the neck,
They
and
stuck you. What did they stick you in? I'm sorry.
they stuck me in the neck,
In
like
the neck.
they were working on my neck,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not sure if it was a knife or not. I
Was
assume
it
it.
maybe like one of their technical things they were using, like a metallic object or something?
I assume. I assume
Okay.
they put a tracker in me or whatever.
Mm-hmm. So they stick this metallic object, Patrick, in your neck, and you're 7 years old.
Yep.
And what was that for? Did they explain?
I don't know. I would assume it was a tracker of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, they just sort of like went back, like they just like went back 1, 2, 3, and they just appeared in front of me again, maybe 10 feet away, and then they just sort of like zoomed out. And
So they
then
went
when
back on their ship and zoomed out, correct?
uh no, there was no ship.
There
There
was
was
no ship.
well, no, not that I know of.
That you couldn't see a ship, but they disappeared.
Yeah, yeah, they just went like from a big. They went like 1, 2, and 3. Like they just sort of like separated and
Mm-hmm.
just like went back to where they were, and then straight up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
then,
that was your second encounter, right?
yeah, yes, sir.
So what happens now after they leave and zoom out, and they did this thing to your neck, what I'm assuming is they implanted you or something.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they did.
Uh huh. So yeah, that was the second encounter. Uh, could you just give me a second here?
Oh,
Just
take your time. Just
one
while you're
second.
doing in your second, this is Encounters, the late night spiritual UFO talk show. Please tap my screen. We're at 11,100 likes. We want to get up to 100,000 likes by 1:30 Eastern. So I need everybody to get proactive. I always want people to be proactive. And okay, let's see here. Okay, so that person doesn't need to be here then. Let's see. I think that person just is going to be in this situation. We'll let them watch until they get their head straightened out. But yeah, so I just want people know, please tap. We want to get to 100,000 likes by 1 o'clock, by 1:30 or 1 o'clock, somewhere in that area. And also, please follow if you're not following already. I'm going to set up this goal here. Your support means a lot. So if you are enjoying the program, if you enjoy what we're doing here, the Bust the Matrix, to listen to people's stories from all over the world, you will only find this kind of stuff here where people can express their stories, whether it be good contact with space people or, in his case, being, uh, you know, dealt with by these lower vibrational beings. Um, we have all kinds of different people on here, and I love the fact that people can share their stories and come out of the closet about whatever their experiences are. I think that's really important. Um, so we're going to turn it back to Patrick. This is CmdrAleon, your host. You're watching us live on the number one spiritual UFO talk show on social media. We're here to bust the matrix and bust people's belief systems about all this stuff. So, Patrick, you're still 7 years old. They leave, and what else goes on?
Okay. Yeah. So, uh, around the same time, it was like in the very nighttime. I went to sleep, in my bed. I was in like a top bunk, and it was dark in the room, and I could feel something in the room. I could hear something. Like I knew there was something in the room. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and even though it was like totally dark, I still could see like three three black objects like floating in front of me.
Yeah, yeah.
So then they I was a little scared. I sat right up in bed.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting straight up in bed and looking at these, black objects like round.
Yeah.
So then they sort of like came right up to my face, and so I had to lay down, and then they went underneath my back. It was like magnetic. It was like they sort of levitated me off my bed, and then we just traveled out the door and
Wow.
into the night.
And this is still when you were 7 years old.
Yes. Yep.
And what month of the year was it in 1964? Did this all happen in the same month or in different months during that year?
I would say all three of these encounters would be like in the same month. It
Same
was, it
month.
was summertime. I'm not sure what month, but yeah, the June, July, August, one of the months.
So they were laser focused on doing things to you, these Zeta beings. They
Yep.
were just not going to leave you alone for a minute.
Oh yeah, they took me all right. So then we just like I knew it was I didn't know what was happening to me. You know I didn't resist at all. But then we just like went straight up into the sky.
When you say you went straight up in the sky, they took you on their ship straight up into the sky, correct?
Uh, yeah, but I'm not sure if I was in the ship because it was like I could still feel the night, and I could see the darkness.
So were they
And
taking him? Were they maybe beaming you up into their Zeta ship, and that's why
uh,
you felt the darkness?
yeah, exactly. They
Okay,
they
you were being beamed up onto their ship.
yeah, because like when I'm yeah, because like I could hear like when I got so far up, I could see like the earth, and I could see like the
Yeah.
sun peeking around the corner of it. And then I heard like a door open, and I went inside.
Yeah, so they opened up some sort of a door on their ship,
Yep.
and at that point, when you say you at 7 years
Mhm.
old, you're being taken into a ship. You see what you call a door opening,
Yep.
and when you got inside the door, did you see that you were inside a spaceship?
Uh,
I mean, where else would you be?
yeah. Okay. Let's assume I was inside the spaceship because I
Yeah,
was then placed on the on the table, the ivory
right.
table, like a table like with a dull ivory light underneath it.
Huh.
I'm just laying there, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just laying there on this table. They put me on the table, and I'm laying straight down, and then I feel a very hot something very hot on my foot on my foot.
Really?
Yeah. So it was so hot that I just like sat up and saw what it was, and that's when I discovered that I was sitting on this ivory table,
Mm.
and it was
And
I guess
what was it what they were using to make your foot hot? As a 7-year-old kid, they're
yep
doing something to your foot. It's
yep
hot.
yep.
What were they putting against your foot as a kid on that spaceship while you were laying down on the table?
It would be their fingers. Like
Their
I saw
fingers.
like three fingers that looked like a pipe, that looked like pipes, and
Hmm.
it was and but I assumed they had the setting too high, so it
Hmm.
was like too hot for me.
Hmm.
So then I heard like sort of like this. I think they were sort of amused that I sat up and like and that I was like obviously knew something
Were you
was going
forced at
on.
that point, Patrick, to lay on the table, or did you have freedom of movement?
Uh, well, they asked me telepathically, right? If they could do an examination, and I unconditionally said yes. There was no way you could say no. I said, yeah, you do
Now,
whatever
when
you
you
want.
say when you say there was no way you could say no, but they asked you if they could, how come you didn't say no as a kid?
No, there is no saying no. There is
So there was no option. That's why I'm asking
no
you. You
options
really
here.
don't
No,
have an option.
no, you just like agree with it, right? So, yeah. So then they took what I they took hair samples from my feet or bottom of my legs
Hmm.
and all the way up my side of my body, really.
Right.
Like they just like took hair
So they were
samples.
taking samples of your human DNA is what they were doing.
Yeah, but it would have been hair, the hair,
Okay.
because like my 2 feet right now is like it's completely bald from like maybe 8 inches from my ankle up to my legs. They're both bald, like
Yeah.
so. It's it's pretty obvious. So uh, yeah, and from there, I sort of after that was done, I think they took me to see someone. Like it was like a Dark Vader. Like you know what Dark Vader looks like. I sort of like met him, or it was so black, like looking at him, like it was just all glassy black. Maybe I
Yeah.
was just looking at her eyes. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it was. But from there, I just went into a deep sleep, and I just the next morning, I woke up in a different bed, of course, in my brother's bed.
So when they took you back to Earth,
Yeah,
they put you in your brother's bed. You ended up in your brother's bed instead of your bed.
yeah, yes, because I
Okay.
know that because when I woke up the next morning, my mom was cleaning the house, and I woke up, you know, pretty relaxed, but I knew something had happened that night, and I was in his bed, like uh, that song called for. And I asked my mom, I said, "How did I get here?" And she just laughed, right? So yeah, that
Mm.
was that. And then
Wow.
I think it was the next day, or yeah, it would have been the next day. My mom said to me there was a cat that got run over by a car. She said, "Well, I want you to go out and look at it, right?" So I go out and look at it, like it's on the side of the road. It was headed across the road, like from our house. And a couple of my friends were there too. And this cat was like, the gut was all like, it was totally black. A friend of mine said, it looks like someone threw it in a fire.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like, the, it was totally black. It was like someone took a blowtorch to it.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah, so that was like animal mutilation there, right?
So there's a lot of negative stuff going on with these Zeta. Now,
Yeah.
was that the third time in the same year? That particular one there,
Yeah, that would have been all at the same time, like
all at the same
the
time,
same
in the
summer.
same month.
As far as I can tell, it all happened at the same time. Like I
Well,
remember it all, but I don't remember like the timeline sort of thing.
okay, that's fine. So it looks
Yeah.
like what amazes me is that they were, when you're abducted,
Uh
and
huh.
I knew people like Bud Hopkins who was a hypnotist. He wrote books about people's abductions. Excuse me. And it sounds like at 7 years old,
Yeah.
you had 12 different times that they interacted with you, and they actually abducted you 12 different times as a 7 year old. That's amazing.
Yes,
So
sir.
you're getting abducted, and what happened? When we get to the fourth time, they come back again for the fourth time. What goes on then?
Uh, well, I've had sort of like other little mini visits where they tried things like just call me out, and I,
Hmm.
you know, I don't know. I can only remember I know the very last time, like uh, they took the tip of my finger too. Like my friend chopped my finger off, my
Ooh,
the tip of my finger, and they make everything look like an accident.
like now, who chopped the tip of your finger off? Who did that?
Uh, well, me and my friend were in this uh little woodshed,
And woodshed.
and so is my friend's dad showed up, and he said, "I want you to go chop some wood," right?
Okay.
This was like much later. Maybe I was like maybe 9 at the
Okay.
time.
So you're like 2 years later.
Yeah, and he said, "I want you to go chop some wood," and he said you can go help him, right? He said to me, you can help him also, right? So we go out there, and I'm placing the wood on the chopping block, and I think we did one. And then the second time I put the wood on the block, and it just tipped over. It and I I would put the wood on the block, and it would just tip over,
Mm-hmm.
like perfectly flat
Mm-hmm.
wood. Put it on the wood, and I did this like 3 times, and the wood just kept tipping over, tipping over,
Okay.
tipping over. So I just like said, okay, I will hold the wood, and I held a piece of wood, and my hand was just gravitated towards the top of the wood, and then he put the axe over his head. I could, like, I knew they were there, like, and because I looked up at him, and it's like I could see like he was in like a there was a plasma all around us,
Yeah.
and then he just like put the axe over his head and just like chopped my finger right off
Yeah.
the tip of it.
Now, when this happened, do you think it was psychologically set up by the Zetas that were abducting you?
I think so, because they never found a tip of my finger, and they looked everywhere.
So the tip of your finger gets well,
Yes,
taken off by the chopping thing.
yeah,
This finger that was chopped off is never found. Now, usually something like that happens, it's on the ground somewhere. So as
somewhere,
a
yeah,
kid, at 9 years old, your finger gets chopped and you can't,
yeah,
there's no one finding anything.
no, no, and I nearly fainted at the time, and
Hmm.
on the way to the hospital, I'm just like, in so much pain, holding my finger and things. And sort of just came back to me, right?
Yeah.
I could see him there. I could see
Hmm.
him in my memory, like just for a couple of seconds. I
Right.
knew I could see, I could see the
So,
whiteness.
Patrick, did you know at 9 years old that the Zeta were involved in taking the cut off finger for like a sample or something?
I would assume they did, but I don't
Because
remember. I
nobody
didn't.
was able to find it. You couldn't find the cut off finger
No.
in the place in the barn or wherever it was
Yeah.
where your friend was doing this.
Hmm.
Normally, if you're that's unusual.
It is. And well, like I said, on the way to the hospital, I could like the memory just came back, like just
Hmm.
for a few seconds, but
Yeah.
then it just disappeared. You know.
Right.
So that was that. Then the
And that
next,
was what was that the fourth time? That's 2 years later. That's your fourth experience.
yeah, I would, yeah, fourth,
Now, after you go through the fourth experience with these Zeta who were abducting you, starting at 7 years old in 1964, so at
yeah,
1966, that's when you had that experience 2 years later.
yeah.
What's the fifth experience you're having?
Uh, I would say is when they came for whatever was in my neck, and this was like,
Was that after they did that thing with your neck and did something with a needle or some sort of a device?
yeah, yeah, I, yeah, I'm sure there was something in my neck
Yeah, they
because
implanted you.
so I would say about a year later after the finger
Hmm.
episode, uh, me and my friend were like just playing in the yard. We were like making like a teepee, like with like we put sticks up and put like tree boughs around it. So we were there in the yard, and so I said, "Okay, I'm just gonna go get some more boughs." So I
Hmm.
started walking down my path, and I saw something like in front of me, maybe 10 feet in front of me, just coming down through
Hmm.
the air. Like I could hear it coming through, and it was them. And by this time, I knew something. I sort of like instinctively knew something, what they were, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I turned and I started to run, and they just shot a beam at me and just like propelled me right into the teepee and
Yeah.
busted it all up. So my friend now,
Oh my gosh.
so now my friend, he's got a little angry at me, and he had a little axe with him because we used to like playing with axes.
So your friend is there with you. How old are you at this time?
Uh, I would say about the same. I think it
You know,
was like a year after, maybe. Yeah.
so
So
you're eight. You're eight,
let's
or
say
you're
I'm
like it's
10.
a year after 60. Is it like are you like 65 or 66?
Uh,
Do you remember?
I would say about, yeah, I would say 67.
Mhm. And someone's asking, sassy little mama, when they did the laser into your eye, did you have any eye damage, permanent eye damage after that as a kid?
Yeah. Yeah. I
You
had
did.
like, I went through life with like one eye was like -8 and the other one was -13.
Okay,
Yeah. I instantly got a cataract on that eye.
you do.
Yeah. So, like I said, like
Now
I
let me
had,
ask you, as an adult, and you are now an adult, of course, have
yeah.
you had any returns from those beings? Have they interrupted you, or
No, none.
no?
No,
No weird stuff happening with Zeta in your house or anything?
no. And so, like I said, they just like tractor beam me, and uh, like when I ran, they just sort of like blasted me, and I went crashing into the teepee, and my friend was inside the teepee, and he was like got angry at me. So now I look at him, and because I knew what was coming, I knew it was them for some reason, and I said, "You got to run, right?" And he was just engulfed in this like white plasma, and we were both held in this like plasma, like
So your friend
yeah,
who had not been abducted got abducted with you, being with you. He was also abducted with you, correct?
no, no, he was just there, and I saw him like raise his little axe over his head, and it just chopped me right into the neck, and then
Wow.
yeah, and then I heard like a sucking noise sensation in my neck, and they just like pulled out whatever was in there. I think
Yeah,
they
they took
retrieved the
whatever they put in
retractor.
there. It was probably used to get the DNA samples they wanted.
I think that was just like to retract or to recover the tracker or whatever was in my
The
neck.
tracker, yeah. Okay.
So yeah, so that nearly killed me, but it did.
Wow. Now, when did it actually, Patrick, let me see here for a minute.
Yeah,
Patrick, so for people saying bring Patrick on live on video, if you don't know much about TikTok, you have to have 800 followers to go on live on video. You can't go live. That's why I bring guests on that don't have 800. They have over 100 now. They can go on audio. So there's no video. It's just the way TikTok is set up. If you had a lot more like 800, then you can bring a person on any TikTok with video. So that's why you're not able to see them.
yeah.
And
No, I
and
wouldn't. I
people,
wouldn't come on. I'm
right.
sorry. I wouldn't come on anyways. I'm just like I'm really skeptical of this audio. But
Of the audio. Well,
yeah,
don't be too skeptical. You're doing a pretty good job for a first time guest on one of the top UFO spiritual shows on social media. So you're doing absolutely fine.
well, thank you. Uh, I guess I'll tell you the last one,
Yeah.
which is the most important one, really. I was in the yard. I would say I was like at 12. This would be like the last one.
At 12 years old. So you're
Yeah.
12 years old. So I would say nine. Okay. So what's that, like in the late 60s?
What? Yeah. Uh, yeah, I would say 60, 68
Mm.
because
People are asking you, I'm getting all these comments. You have the Freemason symbol. They're just curious about the symbol.
yeah, no, I just came across that. We have a Freemason building in our town here,
Oh, you do? Okay.
and just like I just took the picture, and I just like I'm
All right.
always
That's cool. So now people
Definitely.
have this curiosity about his symbol. Now you
Uh-huh.
know why the symbol is on his thing. It's not like any conspiracy or something. He just
No.
took a picture and put it on there. So
Yeah,
there you go.
that's my logo.
That's your logo. Okay. So now you're 12 years old, a
Uh-huh.
couple years later in the late 60s. And what happens on your final experience with these beings?
Well, I'm in my yard playing. Like it was very sunny day, and I hear this like whooshing sound, and I look up, and the sky just goes like overcast, and like a I could see like the rainbow colors all through the sky,
Hmm.
and then I saw like three black dots. They were just darting back and forth the sky like crazy. I couldn't really, just like they were just like one would dart here and the next one would dart there, and they were just going back and forth. And so I was watching this, and then the next thing I know, I see something in the sky. It was like a golden. It looked like a about the size of a pop can,
Okay.
and it was like completely golden, like, and it was like coming in and out like towards me.
Hmm.
Like it would come up close to me and then go back and forth, right? So I got a stick and I started like like sort of like trying to hit it. And so they knew now that I was a little aggressive and I was much older.
Right. You weren't just like a compliant little 7-year-old kid that was being abducted anymore.
Exactly. So uh then it happened. They just like uh the Zetas, just one came down and then the other two came down right behind them. And the way they work is like one goes into the other, like
So now
the
that you're
front.
12 years old, Patrick,
Uh-huh.
did you now do anything to try to stop them from doing what they normally do?
Yes.
What did
When
you do to
they
stop them or try to stop them?
well, I was I was sort of like fighting them
How were you fighting them?
with my arms and legs.
You were physically fighting these Zeta with your arms and your legs. And were they like shocked that you were fighting back?
I think so.
Hmm.
So, like I said, they sort of like come into like a triangle, like one in
Hmm.
front and two, one on either side, and then one goes into the other, and it gets bigger. And then when the third one goes in, that's when it's the monster. That's when it engulfs me. So they just come down and they just like I'm inside this plasma again, and it's
Hmm.
like I don't want to be there. So I'm just kicking and swinging my arms like I'm not getting anywhere. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm trying to run, but my legs are not going nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like you just levitated off the ground.
Hmm.
So so I'm in there, and it's like all this crackling and you know uh, electric. Uh, Everything's like electric. So they just like shot me out, and they just shot me out like 20 feet across the yard.
Out of this thing that you were in, they shot you out of it.
They just like shot me out of it. Like they didn't want. They knew that I was getting a little aggressive with them, I guess.
Yeah, you were
Or
done with it. You said, "I don't want to be here anymore." They couldn't deal with the fact that you were resisting them.
exactly. So they just like shot me out, and then when I landed on my back,
Hmm.
and I tried getting up, and then I just like with my two legs, I could see through like you know my legs. I could see through my and I could see them, and then they just came across the field and just engulfed me again. So now I'm on my back, and they're like surrounded. I'm surrounded because I'm in this plasma again, and
They
it's
have you back in it.
yeah,
And you're 12
and
years old at this point, correct?
yeah, I would yeah,
Okay.
and then
Yeah, it sounds that
so
way for you. I'm saying you're basically a test subject. Sounds like that you were would be like a test subject for them.
I would think so. I think my DNA is out there somewhere. I think they were just after me for like
Right. Well,
my
that's typically what an abduction is. When they abduct you, these beings that
uh-huh.
are not the spiritual beings of light, they're doing this to take your DNA, and they're trying to do things with your DNA to create either hybrid beings from their own existence because they actually have messed up their own existence. That's why they would abduct people in the 60s and 70s, 80s, 90s, and into the probably early 2000s, different age groups from adults to little kids. And
Mhm.
you were obviously a kid having this experience. So essentially, after you were done being 12 years old, they never came back towards you again or interacted with you, correct?
That's correct. And
Interesting.
yes, you're correct on all accounts because I've done a lot of research into
Hmm.
this after I found out,
Right.
what happened to me. And so yeah, then I'd rather not say, but they took something from inside me at that point.
Hmm.
And
We don't have to say what it is. Obviously, you still have your full existence, but they did.
uh
And without saying it, if it's something that's going to cause a problem for my life, don't say it. But if it's some, whatever it was, did it affect your beingness or your well-being as a human being as you got older?
100%, yeah.
Okay, we'll
Like
just keep it at that.
it took me for, uh, I'm not a normal, right? I'm not a normal person after that.
Okay.
So, yeah. And then, uh, after that encounter, they just turned me off. They just like, they just killed me. They just like turned my brain off because they told me not to tell anybody about what happened
Hmm.
telepathically. And I said, yeah. And then they must have killed me because I went straight up into the sky and I was met by the angel, Mike, Archangel Michael, and he
So
just
you're
like,
saying
yeah,
after what you say after you, um, so are
yeah.
you? Do you have indigenous blood? Are you an indigenous person on the Atlantic coast?
What does that
So is
mean?
it meaning Indian, Native American,
No,
Native Indian? Okay.
uh, no,
So they were just asking. I'm just asking because they asked. But so you
yeah,
are now. You're how old are you when you meet the angels? What year was that?
no. They just told they just like they just did they went inside my head and like just killed me like because I went up into the sky. I went up into the sky and I was met by the angels, right? Or the angel. It was
Angelic
like
beings.
was now this part you might not believe, but
No, go ahead.
uh, yeah, and I just like I was going up into the sky, and then the angel came out of the sky to meet me, and I knew it was the angel of Archangel Michael. I would assume because he just pushed
Mhm.
me right back into my body, right back to Earth.
So you basically were on a near-death experience at that point, after what the
Yeah,
Zeta did, after what the negative ETs did to you.
yep,
You almost, in a sense, Earth, as we know the terminology, died. You meet
yep.
the angel. How'd you know anything about Archangel Michael?
I just assume it was because it looked like him, and it
Hmm.
was big.
It was big.
Yep, and it was like, yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, you had a near-death experience.
Exactly. And he
Okay.
just he just pushed me right back down into my body, because when my body when my spirit hit the body, it just like bounced right off of the
Hmm.
ground.
And you were still 12 years old when this happened, correct?
Yeah. And it all happened so quickly. And
Hmm.
then because I could see him leaving after
You,
after I was after
you can see who leaving.
uh the Zeta.
Oh, the Zeta were leaving. That's when you had your near-death experience.
Yeah. It all
Okay.
happened in like a couple of seconds.
Hmm.
And I could see him leaving the yard. And they just like went like
Right.
one, two, three, back up into the sky.
And when you met Archangel Michael at the near-death experience, which this is amazing as you're
Yeah.
getting to the end of the story, and we
Yeah.
had to hear the whole story because it's not fair not to hear the whole story. And your
Yeah.
story as a kid, when you were a kid, is an amazing story, and people need to hear this. And that's what my show's about. And
Well,
people
thank
need
you.
to be willing to just be patient and listen to these
Yeah.
stories. And so your story is amazing. So you have a near-death experience after the Zeta are leaving, and
Yeah.
you meet, Archangel Michael. Did you ever
Yes.
know that there was a thing called an Archangel Michael?
Uh, I like I
How,
said, like
how did you know that as a kid?
instinctively knew it.
Hmm.
Like yeah, and like I said, like through research and but yeah, I instinctively I don't know for sure if it was, but
Mm-hmm. That's okay.
I'm saying it was
Okay.
because it said it all over his being.
Right. Did
You
you
know what I
feel a
mean?
lot of love from the angel when that happened?
No, there was no time. It all happened in a few
He
seconds,
was just
maybe.
he wanted you back in your body to be
Yeah.
living as a kid.
I
Right. He
was
didn't
I,
want
I
you to.
was I was I was floating up into the sky, and it just came
Hmm.
out to meet me, and
Hmm.
it just like stopped and just like
Hmm.
pushed me right back down
Push you right back down.
where I was supposed to be.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, Patrick, I want to thank you for spending the time. I really wanted to take time because when you tell me you have had like a number of different experiences within the 2 year period, we need to hear the whole story. And it's like reading a book. You're telling that story. We read the book as you as a child,
Yeah.
sharing what was really a negative experience being forced to do these things
Yeah.
that I wouldn't want any kid to go through. And I'm sorry you went through it, but I'm also very glad that you had the courage to come on my show and talk about what happened to you as a child. I think that's really important.
Thank you
I
so
really
much.
do.
I
I
really
really
I
do.
really appreciate you, sir. And like I said, one day I will have to tell the world, and I did through you.
You
But
did.
like I
You
don't
did.
know. I don't know
This show, my
what.
show here, Patrick, all my
Uh-huh.
shows are recorded. This will
Uh-huh.
be on my YouTube channel at
Okay.
some point tomorrow. All the shows are on my YouTube channel. So
Right.
when people miss the show, they can go there to Ask Trucker Man Spaceship News and watch the whole interview. So I appreciate very much what you have shared as when you were a child. So let me ask you a question.
Yeah. Go
Um,
ahead.
how does the energy feel around your house now? Now you're an adult now. You're not a kid anymore. You have not been abducted anymore. But
Uh-huh.
I would like to almost give you a gift. If, how long have you watched my show?
Uh, maybe a month.
A
Not
month.
long. I've
You've
tuned in a
seen
few times.
you've seen have you seen me when I do stuff for people that have had negative experiences with ETs?
I the last one was when the guy was like in that one of the two reptilians
Yes,
in the hospital there.
yes, and
I
we got rid
listened
of
to
them. We
that.
basically got rid of them.
Yep.
So even though you're an adult now, I'd like to do something for you
I
if you
appreciate
allow
that,
me
sir.
to it.
Okay, go ahead.
It's going to be my gift to you.
All right. I
Okay.
appreciate that.
And people that watch my show since last year know that what I am saying I'm going to do, I can do. Whether you believe it or not doesn't matter out there, whoever you are.
Okay.
I can do what I do, that I can do it on
Great.
behalf of the light. I work with the Ashtar Command, as you know, Patrick. You've watched my show on and off.
Yeah.
So not
Sorry.
only am I a talk show host, I'm not a typical suit and tie talk show host on UFOs. I'm not that person at all. I'm not from this planet. I come from the Christed levels of light within the Ashtar Galactic Command. So I want to give you a gift and having the courage to share your story. I want
I
you to close
accept.
your eyes for a moment.
I accept.
Okay, so I need you to close your eyes for a moment.
My eyes are closed.
I'm going to go into my Ashtar Command mode right now for you. I want you to say to yourself, I am a Christed being of light.
I'm a Christ being of light.
I am well protected now.
I'm well protected now.
I cannot be abducted anymore.
I cannot be abducted anymore.
I am fully engulfed in the light.
I am fully engulfed in the light.
And what I'm going to do for you now, Patrick, is we are going to send a spaceship over to your location in Atlantic Canada. Whereabouts in Atlantic Canada are you?
I'm in Ontario, Canada.
Ontario. I don't need to know the location, just the general region.
Toronto?
Toronto. So we'll send a ship over to you about 20,000 feet above your location. I already know where your location is.
Okay.
What we're going to do is send 5 space people from the ship to you. And what they're going to do is clear all the energy out of your location in Toronto where you are. They're going to clear all the energy from when you were a child to now, and any possibilities of anything that was left there, including anything they did to you to keep track of you, that will no longer be something they're able to do. They're not going to be able to track you ever again, and you are going to have a clear consciousness of who you are. And the command, there is one person, a woman. I want you to keep your eyes closed. Take a deep breath, breathe in and breathe out of your nostril 3 times. And when you're completed the 3 times, I want you to clear all your consciousness of everything in your mind, in your human mind, so to speak. The young woman who's in the room with you, there are 5 of them actually, they're basically cloaked. She wants permission to come up to you. She's going to touch your forehead. And when you feel her touch your forehead, she's touching it for a reason. You're going to see a shift in energy. You're going to feel a vibrational pattern like a tingle in your brain that will go flowing through your body. I'll give you a minute to just keep calm, feel at peace, and in a moment she will touch your forehead. When you start to feel something, just say yes, Commander, or just say something.
I believe what you're saying is true.
Did you just feel something just now? Like any kind of like from the, it could have been from the head. I had a vision of her touching the top of your head, like almost touching your head and then the forehead area.
I'm not
Don't
sure,
think about
but
it.
let's.
It's not
I'm not
something you think
sure,
about.
but
It's either you feel it or you don't. If you don't feel anything, that's fine too.
I'm not sure, but let's say it's done.
Let's say it's done.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go with that. And again, I'm not trying to project somebody to feel something they don't feel. I'll never do that to any of my guests.
I'm feeling okay.
You feeling okay?
Yeah.
So are you feeling better than you did a moment ago?
Yes, I am.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
I think there is an energy around me now.
Yes, now you, and yet there is an energy around you. Yes. What we're doing is the command is shielding you from any negative beings. They're clearing all the energy in your home, all the energy on your property. You'll never, ever again be tracked by these beings. Never. And that's my gift to you.
Well, thank you, sir, and thank you. I appreciate it, and you're the best. I will look on YouTube and see if I can find you tomorrow.
Absolutely. And you're now part of the show in terms of one of our guests.
Okay.
And we appreciate you being finding the show.
Okay.
And you are a blessing. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. And
All right, Patrick, everyone say, give a good round of applause for Patrick, and everybody be patient. Part of human nature is I hear see people say, bring me up, bring me up, bring me up. Everybody chill out, calm down. We're going to get more guests on here. You know,
yep.
you got to just chill out and be centered at peace. We'll bring people up here. So, it's like, hey, Dad, bring me up, will you, Dad? Give me a Twinkie, Dad. Yeah, hurry up, please. Bring me up already. Calm down, folks. Hey, Patrick, thanks for coming on here. We
I'm
appreciate it.
glad I got it off. Yeah, I'm glad I came on, sir. Thank you.
All right, Patrick. First time
Bye.
on,
Yep.
first time to share his experience as a child,
Yep.
and we appreciate it. So I will choose who's next. I will not be forced to who I'm going to bring up. So chill out, be at peace, take a deep breath. It's not the end of the world here. And let's see. Let me see here. Well, I have to go with who's on my guest list. Blue Band wants to come up. Blue Band, can you tell me what you wish to share? Breezy Bree says, do they come to you in dreams? Hey, Linda Lou. And Bad Chad needs, let's see, how many more followers? Bad Chad needs only 5 more followers. Bad Chad needs 5 more followers to tell his story. And if he has 5 more followers, we'll bring him up. But Blue, I need to know what you want to share. Let me just make a promotional announcement. And you have to be over 18. No paranormal discussion on the show. No drinking, no smoking, no paranormal discussion, no obscenities or cursing or whatever. This is a professional program. I'm a talk show host on radio for 21 years. I'm a contactee. I'm also working with the Ashtar Command, always all my life. I'm a Christed being of light. And I'm from Mars, which is the planet I come from before here, with 10 to 15 million inhabitants. So we're glad to have everybody here, people finding the show, following the show. Glad to have you all. We're at 44,000. We want to get to 100,000 by 1:30. We're going to go on till 1:30 a.m. in the morning this morning. We might have to get a break of cider. I might have to get some more ice and cider because I actually finished the whole glass. I must have cider during my broadcast, so I will have to get another glass. No, I don't think we got into that. No. Guardian, I know you have a story. Guardian, what was the thing? Guardian, I'm following you. You mentioned you had a story. Can you tell me what that is? I do remember earlier in the evening you said that you have a story too. So, what is your story? Guardian, tell me in a sentence. Hey, Delta. Hey, Greta. Welcome to the show. Grass. Seth Jacobs, welcome. Hey. And we have a little bit of rain. It's nice and cool in here. We got the windows open. The rain is coming down. Hey, Hollywood, good to see you. I'm trying to get better posting videos. I'm still new. Hey, Trisha, you'll do well. You'll be able to do it. Go watch Encounters, the late night spiritual UFO talk show, and the topics we deal with, hey, Sherry, are everything from encounters, connections with the star people, the positive beings, even people that have had abductions like Patrick when he was a kid in 64. We cover the whole thing. We get into the mer people, the fairies. We get into the Sasquatch, or what you call Bigfoot. We get into the Agartha network, our space family that lives in the inner Earth. We talk about all these things, all related to a much larger picture, so to speak. And that's why this show is what it is. So we appreciate all of you and all the people finding encounters. We appreciate you. I know there were a few people that had stories to tell. If you can just make a sentence as to what your story was, I would be happy to bring you up and share your story. You have to have 100 followers to go live on audio. You still need 800 followers to actually to go audio. I mean to go video. I'm going to bring Chad up because I know Chad has a story to tell. I think he's got over. Yep, we're bringing Chad up. Chad, this is going to be your first time live on audio on TikTok, and we're going to welcome you to share your story. Chad made it to 105 followers, which is a congratulations for Chad on the #1 UFO spiritual talk show. I'm your host, CmdrAleon. Chad, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're sounding great. Thanks for making it up to 105.
Woo, that was a mission.
Yeah, yeah, really. So tell us a little bit about where you are and your background that facilitated what you're going to tell us in your story.
Well, right now I'm in Richland, New York, upstate near Pulaski, about 40 minutes from Syracuse. And
Syracuse.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, go ahead and continue
And
on.
I've had a few experiences where I was headed towards Rouse's Point. That's upstate, about 5 miles from the border of Canada and the border of Vermont. I was traveling with my grandfather, and it was a very, very dark back road. I'm getting chills thinking about it right
Mm-hmm.
now.
Mm-hmm.
Woo. And it's dark. All of a sudden, the car shuts down.
Hmm.
The lights go out. The car stalls. It's pitch black everywhere you look. Can't see nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this occurred for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and the car was able to restart again. I said, Grandpa, it's the UFOs. I'm telling you, it's the aliens. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
They're here. In about 15 minutes, we went home. We went back to his house, and that was my first experience.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Was that like the beginning? Like it seems like, and this is interesting. I'm already getting this in my head here. That was only the beginning of what was going to happen to you, correct?
yes, there was so much more. Furthermore, with the orbs,
Yeah.
shapeshifters.
So what happened after that? You tell your grandpa, you see that there are these extraterrestrials and these are a spaceship. So what year was this, and when is the next experience?
Well, this is around 2023, last year.
Last year, okay.
Last year.
And what happens then?
What happens then? The car would start back up, and I look around, I look up, I look left, I look all around 360. I don't see anything. Even in the pitch dark, I don't see anything, and I don't hear anything.
Mm-hmm.
But you just feel this energy you just feel this energy that you know that they're there.
Mm-hmm. You can feel it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I know what you mean.
And then I started to see orbs in the sky for about 5, 10 seconds at a time. They'd flash, they'd disappear, then they'd come back. That was in Moravia, New York. That's about, I would say, 30 minutes from Auburn, New York.
And is that a small town for people that don't know the geographical area of that part of the world?
Yes, it's a small town, um, small town, small town. So I'm just lost for words right now. My mind is just like everywhere, and I just don't know. I need to slow down.
That's okay. And, this is the first time you've been on here to tell this and come out of the closet about what happened to you, which is really, I think, important. So you're in this thing, you see orbs coming in and out. Did you get any indication about these orbs that they obviously were connected with the space beings or something with the extraterrestrials?
Well, I've asked for
What did you
opinions,
feel?
second
What did you feel
opinion.
about the orbs?
I felt that they're trying to show me that they're there, and to acknowledge that they know that I know that they're
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm. So they took the shape of orbs that was their way of showing you in these orbs that, hey, we're here. Now, so far, it sounds like they're trying to get your attention.
They got it.
They got your attention, right?
They
Did you
got it.
feel any fear at all, Brad? I mean, Bad Chad, or did you feel like, wow, this is overwhelming for you as a human being?
There were so many mixed emotions. It was almost I'm not more in fear, I'm more curious.
Curious, okay.
And my mother said to me, I said, Mom, I want to follow him. I want to get closer. She said, Chad, be careful with the games. Be careful of the games you play. You never know. You never know what you're getting yourself into. And
Right.
I fell back from getting closer and closer.
So why did you listen to your mom? Like, you were having this experience with non-terrestrial intelligence, and your mom, she's seeing this as well, correct?
No, she's in Arizona right now.
Oh, she's in Arizona. So
Yes.
she's now, when she told you what she was telling you, was she on the telephone telling you this?
Yes, she was.
Okay. So she wasn't even there to experience what you were experiencing, and she's trying to tell you what to do with the experience, and she's in Arizona.
Yes, she has also had experiences too and went down rabbit holes and
Oh, she did.
yes, so she's just telling me to
Interesting.
be careful, you know. She's just telling me to be careful and just, be safe and be careful. Just be mindful because you don't know what you're getting yourself into. You don't know the games that you're playing.
So your mom has had experiences with non-terrestrial beings. I didn't know this. So she's had experiences. Now you're having experiences as her son, and you're curious as to what's going on with you with this interaction, correct?
Yes. I'm curious. I'm a little fearful, curious,
Right.
anxious. I'm even to the
Um,
point where I'm trying to telepathically reach out to them and just be like, just show me yourself, show yourself without scaring me and let me know you're there. And
right.
let's talk.
What happened when you said that?
Uh, I've just
Like,
had
you're
more,
asking them to show themselves. Let's talk. Did they respond?
not right away, but later in Syracuse. Um, yes, he or it or they did.
And how did that interaction happen when he, it, or they did? Can you explain what the month was or time period in 2023 when that occurred in Syracuse, New York?
Well, yes, I was in Syracuse and I was at a friend's house.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm gonna try to explain it the best I can. There was a closet door that was slightly open, about 2 to 3, maybe 4 inches open,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it's just a slit between the frame of the door and the closet and the
Mm-hmm.
door. I start feeling this energy overwhelming me, and I call my mother, and I tell my mom that I'm hearing a voice. She says, you're hearing voices? I said, no, Mom, I'm hearing a single voice and it's masculine.
Mm-hmm.
And she just told me to relax um and talk to them. She said, let them know that you're there and that I see them.
Mm-hmm.
So I spoke aloud. I says, I know you're there and I see you.
Were you on the phone with your mother when you said that?
Yes.
You were on the phone with your mother. Why was your mother? I'm curious. Did you call your mother when this was happening, or did she call you?
I called my mother
Why'd you call her?
because that's my comfort zone at the time. I was real anxious. I was by
Okay.
myself.
You were by
And
yourself. So she was the
yeah,
comfort zone. Okay, I got you.
yeah, she was my comfort. She was my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm. I
And
got you.
and so they started talking to me. They wanted me to come closer to the closet. They said, "Come closer." I said, "Mom, they want me to come closer." Now I'm looking away from the door, but I can still see my peripheral, and I see the
Mm-hmm.
door. I see the closet starting to shift
Hmm.
into a whole wall. Then the closet was not there anymore, and then it
It
would
disappeared. The closet just disappears.
it disappears, and it wanted me to come closer. And I was fearful to come closer because I didn't know if it was I didn't know if it was what do you I'm lost for words now. I'm lost for
No.
words.
Well, you were saying that the closet disappeared and everything opened up. Did you feel like you were going through a galactic portal?
A portal. That's the word. That's the word.
Yeah, a
I
galactic
felt like
portal.
that I was seeing a portal out of my peripheral. It's like focused farther than what the closet was, so I can
Hmm.
see. And just started to distort. It would go away, then it would come back, and then it would go away, then it would like fade in between there and not there.
Hmm.
And yes, I did. I did record this, and
Oh,
I do.
good.
I have video, but I don't have video of me speaking at all.
Okay. So you were documenting this when it was happening.
Yes,
Very good. That's a smart thing to do, and not everybody does. So as this is happening, you hear the voice of this male voice speaking to you, correct?
I do. Yes,
What did the male voice say to you, Chad?
it spoke of its name, but I have forgotten its name.
Hmm.
And I said, "Nice to meet you," and I introduced myself.
Hmm.
Now, mind you, I'm on the couch sitting down, and it's like two car lengths away from bumper to bumper.
Right.
And it was. I'm just trying to think. It was telling me at first, you know, it was telling me not to expose them. It was telling me, um, or you know, my life would be in danger and stuff like that. But I've been talking about it to my friends and family. Not at
Right.
first though.
So this is interesting. I'm catching every word you're saying. So this being, this being, male voice says, "Don't tell anybody about this. Your life might be in danger." Why would it say? Is it saying its life would be in danger, or your life, or both your lives?
It's my life.
Why would your life be in danger?
I don't know. I can't call it. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know. Maybe it was one of those things where they wanted to be exposed and they wanted to be seen, but didn't want any of their species to know. Or I can't call it. I don't know.
Mhm. So did you think that this being did it ever visually appear to you besides the voice? Again, for people watching this show, understand what my show is about. Everybody has different experiences, and the human mind's going to say whatever it's going to say or think when I interview people. But understand, if you're not in that person's shoes, if you were in that person's shoes, you have to understand that everyone has their experiences. And my show is about letting people share their experiences. Whether you believe somebody's experiences, that's your free will to do so, but you must respect every guest on here. And this is the general consensus of the way we do the show here. Same thing with my radio show for 21 years. So yeah. So as you're having this experience, and it is your experience and not someone else's. So again, I understand the experience. As you're having this experience with this being, which I presume is a extraterrestrial being, and you're communicating with that person, most likely telepathically, correct? You're going conscious to conscious communications with them, correct?
Yes, I heard his voice.
Yeah. And at
Very
that time when that
very.
was happening in the year 2023, did they make any revealing revelations to you? Did they become more physical, or did they not want to show who they were?
No, there wasn't any physicality that I'm aware of, but
Okay.
sometimes I swear that I feel something poke me or graze against me, or I see something in my peripheral and I turn quickly and there's nothing there.
All right. You know, and again, this is very interesting because not every not every extraterrestrial being from somewhere else or another dimension or whatever wants to physically appear in front of the person that's a human being. And the other thing people have to understand, and this is a very interesting story, and I appreciate you coming here for the first time going live. anywhere on the social media to share your experience. I think it's honorable, and I do respect that as well, very much so. That there's different types of communications. Some extraterrestrial beings will be telepathic, and that's the way they prefer to do it. They not maybe at some time in the future, Chad, you're going to have a visual encounter. Maybe there's a whole group of these space people, and this is the spokesperson for that group. Did you feel that there was more than one being involved, or did you just feel this other one person or male voice was the only one you were able to communicate with?
Well, I felt that there was only one because I heard one voice, but when I experience this, I start dissecting my environment. I start looking into things like
Mm-hmm.
very detailedly, and I start dissecting it. And I seen a shapeshifter on the bottom,
The
where you can,
shapeshifter.
yes, where you can see his face, see it, his or her face, almost in like um. Let's see how tall. Maybe maybe 3 foot, maybe 3 foot tall, 3.5,
So
and
they were not big; they were short.
they were short. But the alien was almost transparent.
You
It
mean
would
you mean
come.
you're talking about the extraterrestrial because there aren't really on any aliens, but the non-terrestrial being was how tall was that being?
I can't call it. I can't call it. He was very small from the size of the head that I seen,
Oh,
because he would poke his head out from the crack of the closet. He wouldn't poke it out, but he would poke it. He'd still be in the closet, but but you can still see him inside the closet, and his head was very small. Maybe his head was very small.
hmm. So he was poking out. The space being was poking out very short, about 3 feet tall, and poking out at times out of your physical closet, looking at you.
Well, the 3 feet
Or
tall, this was the shapeshifter. I don't know
the
how
shapeshifter.
tall the extraterrestrial was because he was more above. It was like he was standing on something or floating on something, or something. Maybe he was that tall, but that skinny and small, but that tall enough for him to be over the shapeshifter.
So there's actually, as I'm really listening to the story, and I'm a good listener, there's actually two different beings that
Yeah.
are actually in your environment at that point.
Yes,
Not one, there's two.
at the same time, yes.
So which one of the two was communicating with you?
I feel that it was the extraterrestrial, but I
Yeah,
can't I can't call it. I can't say one or the other because I just don't know.
right.
I really don't know.
And why was the other one there? I'm very curious.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. If I knew, I would tell you.
So let me ask you a question. And this happened to me last night when I was interviewing people. You know a little bit about my background, what I do here, besides being, the kind of talk show host I am. I'm getting the feeling you didn't feel obviously they weren't whoever this space being was. They were communicating with you. Did you feel they weren't abducting you? That you weren't taken onto a ship like the last guest and put on a table or anything? Correct.
Correct. No, I was not.
Okay. So how did you feel last year after you had the experience? Reflecting back on it, how do you feel now?
I feel fair words aren't content to the way I feel. It's just I just don't know the right words. It was just
Mm-hmm.
extraordinary. It was a blessing. It felt awesome.
That's awesome. Okay.
It was awesome.
Yeah. So, and Aaron there says you're awakening, and I would say that's true. Do you feel like before all this happened, your life was pretty much a normal life? You went about your stuff the way you would, whatever you do in your life, you were pretty much doing your thing,
Pretty much. Pretty much.
pretty much. And then in 2023, this happens, and your life starts to change. Correct?
Well, as soon as the government exposed extraterrestrials being here, and they've been here,
Mm-hmm.
and my curiosity and my yearning to have experiences, that's when it all started to fall. That's when it
Right.
all
Your
started.
consciousness opened up. So you're then becoming more open when the Pentagon or whatever says, "Oh yeah, UFOs or TikToks exist." Then your curiosity of your consciousness got to you, and you woke up more. But then this experience happens to you last year with the space being, the ET, and this other being, which is it's amazing. And you in 2024, have you had any other interactions since that time?
Yes.
Can you tell us what those are?
Well, as a matter of fact, I don't know what I seen today. I uploaded it on TikTok. It moves very fast. There was a helicopter, an army helicopter. I was in the middle of the street, and the helicopter was up in the sky, and it was following the street, like coming towards me, like right directly in line of me. I can look up, put my camera up to the sky,
Mm-hmm.
straight forward, and it would fly right over me perfectly. The helicopter. I thought it
You're
was pretty
saying that
cool.
today, up where you are in upstate New York, a physical military helicopter was coming towards you.
Yes, I noticed it. I noticed it on the way back from Tops from the grocery store,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, oh, my friend, look, there's a helicopter. What is that? Is that a helicopter? We got closer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yep, it's a helicopter. So I was able to
Mm-hmm.
my excitement kind of went, shriveled. My excitement shriveled.
Right.
So then I hear another one, and then it flies by, and then as it was coming back, it was coming straight down the street, but it was up in the sky a ways,
Right.
and um, because I thought it was pretty cool. But
Do
then
you
me,
think it was a coincidence that the two military helicopters were coming to you, or were they just going that way anyway, or what were you feeling?
I was feeling what is going on.
Mm-hmm.
When I seen the helicopter from a distance on my way from the store, we parked the car, and then here comes a helicopter, flies over one way, and
Mm-hmm.
then it comes, then it disappears. It disappears in the distance over the trees, and then it comes back straight down the road. But it was up in the sky. It wasn't like a car level. It was like a
Right.
helicopter level.
And what were you thinking? What was your for people watching the show? This is Encounters. I'm the host, CmdrAleon. We're on nightly usually at 11. We're on late tonight. We got on at 11:30, 11:40, and you're watching our show. We have Chad in upstate New York, who's in a sense you are a contactee. So with these helicopters, what is the relationship? What happened this year when you had this happen? And can you correlate with that with your encounters from last year? Is there a connection? What's going on here with you?
I don't know if there's a connection, but process of elimination. I don't know if the helicopter was out to get me, or if Area 51 was gonna come get me,
I don't
or
think any of that's happening. I can tell you that won't happen. I'm
or
just curious. Beyond the helicopters, though, what about the experiences you had last year? Has there been reoccurrences of contact with the space being and the other being, or what's going on with that?
well, I don't. I believe that I've had contact with other space beings.
You have.
I believe. I mean, I have. I I don't know about beings, but the UFOs.
Well, the UFOs are just a craft in which they travel, and space beings travel in a physical craft. So you're not having contact with a UFO. You're having contact with the intelligences that are operating that spacecraft. So yeah, you never have a contact with a UFO. It's just a traveling vehicle, or a spaceship is a traveling vehicle from point A to point B. It's the
Right.
intelligences that are communicating contact with you through your consciousness. That is what I'm kind of talking of. If you've had more UFO sightings, was there any telepathic communications this year, if that has happened, with those space beings?
Um, I believe, but people claim people claim to think that I'm schizophrenia and that I hear a
No, you're
voice.
not. There's no schizophrenia. You're having telepathic communications. We call it telepathy.
Hmm.
It's
I'm
natural.
all. This is all kindergarten stuff to me. So if I trip up my words
No,
and
no problem. I'm here to help you. I've been around a long time, so don't feel like, believe me, you're at the right place. And so people that don't understand what you're going through, they need to just chill out there in the world, because what you're having is a telepathic experience. And that's what most of the space people use is mind to mind communications. They don't really verbally talk like you and I are like having this conversation. It'll all be telepathic.
Yes.
And you're perfectly fine. I want you to know you're amongst a lot of friends here on my show. You're perfectly fine, and it's okay to trip up a word or whatever. It's you're expressing your human experience with something that you've never had before, and so yeah, so you're okay. Just to let you know.
Okay.
Do you trust me on that?
I do.
I won't steer you down the wrong road on this show.
I do. For some reason, I don't trust very many people, but for some reason, I just have this energy, and energy doesn't lie.
Yeah, no, my energy is very much of the highest levels of light, and I don't come from here. I am human. I went to school. I went to college. I did all the things. I do human things. I'm not, separated from that, but I'm also not from this world. And I'm activated, and I can help people. You know.
Thank you.
And a matter of fact, I would like to gift you.
Oh
I
man.
think you'll be the second person tonight. I gifted Patrick, but if you give me permission, I'd like to gift you tonight too,
I'm
if I
outside
have
right
your
now. I've
permission.
been outside. I'm looking at the sky. My
Yeah.
arms are up, and I'm saying, "Let's go."
So
I'm
if you're
ready.
outside, we can gift you outside. No matter whether you're inside or outside makes no difference to me. If you give me permission, I want you to close your eyes and we'll gift you.
My eyes are closed.
Okay. I want you to take 3 deep breaths, Chad. I want you to breathe in and breathe out of your nostrils 3 times. And just relax, relax, relax. Okay. And when you feel relaxed, just allow yourself to let your mind go. Let your mind just relax. Don't think about anything. Just relax now. And in my gift to you, just for tonight, I'm sending a spaceship of the command over to your location. It'll be cloaked. I'm going to send 2 space people outside. You're not going to see them. They'll be cloaked. But when they get closer, you're going to feel the immense amount of love that they have. These are people from the Ashtar command realm. They are Christed beings of light. And when they come to you, they're going to gift you with a gift of protection. They're going to also help activate your ability to understand in time what you are going through. Keep your eyes closed, please.
Yes, sir.
I would like the man and the woman that are now on the ground level from the ship to gently approach Chad and let him know you're there with a vibration of love energy,
The wind's starting to
the
blow.
Christ energies of love.
There's a breeze now. There hasn't been a breeze this whole time.
They're getting closer to you, Chad. There's both one man and one woman. They're wearing spacesuits, but you can't see them. And as they get closer, just be still and at peace. You're going to feel an energy around you in a moment. And the gift I am giving you, that they're giving you, and they're giving it to you, is a gift of great activation, so to speak. They're going to come closer to you, and when you feel something on your head, like a gentle tap or gentle touch, You can tell me when that happens. Take your time. Don't think about things. Just allow yourself to be at peace. And when you do feel something, one of them says they're going to touch your shoulder. I don't know if it's the right shoulder or the left, but they are saying they're going to touch one of your shoulders, right or left. It makes no difference. I don't know which one it is.
Well, I don't know if this counts, but from my eyebrows all the way around my skull up,
Your
there's just
eyebrows are doing what now?
a tingling sensation, like a. I don't know if I'm gonna feel a physical touch or this tingling or this.
Yeah, some people feel a tingling, some people feel a touch.
My left shoulder.
You felt a touch on your left shoulder?
It was like a graze. It wasn't like a. It was a. Yes.
Okay. That's one of the space. I think that is, hold on. That was the woman. The woman, she touched that shoulder. It was the woman. They're about 7.5 feet tall. If they were to physically appear, you'd see how they are very beautiful. They're human and they are with you. They're going to hang out with you for a while. My gift to you is that they're going to hang out with you. They're going to help you. They're going to work with you.
Yeah.
They're from our spaceships.
No, I just got a rush through my whole body, just like a tingling. I just felt it go through my head, my shoulders,
Yes.
my chest,
They're
my
working on
stomach.
your energy field and your cellular structure. They're telling me they love you very much. They're going to be with you when you need them to be with you, and you'll never be alone. Never.
Ooh,
You are not alone. You're very much loved. Do you understand?
I understand. This is different.
Yes. This is why I came to Earth. I didn't know I'm fully activated. When I was a kid, I had certain abilities that I didn't know I had. But now, at this time in my life, I have been activated and I'm still being activated, but I've been activated to do these things remotely. I work with specific people on our spaceships of the Ashtar Command. That's who I work with. That's where I'm actually from. The crisis levels of light.
It's like
So
I'm almost curious of. It's like I find myself right now just creeping into the darkness. It's like I'm almost curious.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even if you're in the darkness, you're full of light. There's nothing to worry about anymore. And when you have contact again, what they're doing is working on uplifting your vibrational frequencies in your body. And the next time you have contact, you'll be contacted by different beings of your star family that you've yet to meet. So my gift to you is that you're being uplifted in your vibrational frequencies. That's my gift to you.
Thank you so much.
And I want to thank you for being here, you know?
Thank you for having me. There was so much more detail. There was so much more detail, but sometimes I have a hard time with my words.
Well, they're going to help you be able to verbalize your things and put your thoughts together in the future. So you don't have to worry about how you detail your words. The words will come to you in time. You have plenty of time. The words will come to you in time.
Okay,
Do you understand?
I understand. Oh.
Now, right now, I'm speaking not from a talk show host point of view. I'm speaking as CmdrAleon from the Ashtar Command. You're a radiant being of light, you know.
I know
Your
now.
light will shine brightly, Chad. It will. Is there anything else you'd like to say? They're with you. The two people, the man and the woman, they'll be with you for the next few days.
Okay.
And you'll know they're there. They're not going to leave you. They'll be there with you. They
Awesome.
might even, at points, show themselves when you feel comfortable enough before they leave. In a few days, I believe they will show themselves to you before they leave.
Okay. All right.
And just here is one thing I wish you to say, and this will complete my end of what I'm doing with you with the two beings from the ship. I want you to say, and I've done this with other people, I am a Christed being of light.
I am a Christed being of light.
I am light, and I am light universal.
I am light universal.
I am completely enveloped in light,
I am completely enveloped in light.
and I am protected always in light.
And I am protected always in light.
There you go. You're all set.
Before I wouldn't even go towards the woods in the dark, but I'm like at the edge of the wood line in the yard. And I just feel this energy. I want to go in.
You have nothing to fear anymore.
Ooh.
You are well protected.
Should I go in?
If you wish to, yes.
Oh man, I've never been in these woods. Even in
You
the
don't have to
daylight.
go all the way in the woods, but you can go in and just gently go in the woods.
I wish I had another camera. Ooh. There's a sense of fear.
What you're facing is the thing that you face physically in the dark. Once you face it, it will no longer exist. You have nothing to fear.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going in.
You don't
My
have
feet,
to.
my feet are taking me in.
You can always go another night. When you're ready, you will go. But you've come this far, which I think is phenomenal. So, yeah. Thank you, Infinity 8. I think you've done very well.
Yeah, I don't think I want to go in.
That's okay. But I thank you for being here and coming up live for the first time.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Well, you're now part of our international tribe of viewers from all over the world. So welcome to Encounters.
Thank you so much.
And, and if they want to check out your documentations when you do document stuff, what is your TikTok page?
My TikTok page is Jupiter Moon 871.
Jupiter Moon 871. Okay. All right, Chad. Thank you so much for being here, brother.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
All right. You have nothing to be alone about. Now you have a whole bunch of people here that love you. And you're going to make a lot of friends here because everyone here, new people, old people, we all get to know each other, and it's one big global family on this show. It really is.
Amazing.
All right, man. I'm going to let you go and enjoy the outdoors and enjoy the fresh air and enjoy being having the gifts that we've given you tonight. And we thank you.
Likewise, thank you so much for having me.
You're most welcome, Chad. We're going to let Chad down on here. And we're almost at 100,000 likes here. We'd like to get to 100,000. What you have to do is tap the screen. And the good news is my screen didn't go dark with every guest that came on here. It actually stayed. I was saying before I came on live tonight, I was saying I just would like my screen to stay the way it is. And it did. Thank you for all our relatives. Thank you. Thank you, AH. Thank you. And if you're new or if you watch my show, the reason why I can do shows like this and be the host I'm doing, because I've been doing radio for 21 years, interviewing people. So I'm not just on TikTok yelling and screaming with a house suit on or something with disco balls. I'm a professional talk show host. Been doing it for a long time, but also I'm a contactee. So I have empathy for people because I've been a contactee since I was a kid. I've had hundreds of sightings of spaceships. So I can relate to just about everybody, whether they've been abducted. I've never had that experience, nor will I ever will. But I am definitely someone who's come from off planet, from Mars, and I kind of understand the human experience, but I also come from the non-human experience. And I see, Woo Food Movement TV. I think it's Woo Food Movement TV. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and what you'd like to talk about? You have to be over 18, over 100 followers. You get to go live on audio, over 800 on video and audio. No foul language, no smoking, no drinking, no paranormal discussion whatsoever. And again, we want to focus on the cosmic galactic areas consistently. It could be Bigfoot, mer people, fairies. It could be your videotaping of spaceships. It could be your visitations by space people that are visiting you. All that stuff. That's what we talk about here. Just to give people kind of like, what's going on here? Hold on a minute. Okay, something strange just happened. I just unplugged the Alexa app in the bathroom, and the Alexa app started talking by itself. I didn't even know it was hooked up. I just unplugged the Alexa app. It was talking about abstractions. I didn't get the full comment of what it was saying. It was talking about abstractions. It was I had to unplug it. It was too loud. I didn't want to wake people up. It just started talking about abstractions and going on about something. I unplugged it. That just happened now. I didn't even tell it to say anything. It was right in the bathroom, plugged in, and it was plugged in, and it was sitting on one of the shelves, and it was talking. It just started talking on its own about abstractions, about defining something, and I unplugged it, or else it would have kept talking. Yeah, spiritual ninja, probably. Tina says something wipers through mine. So that was really strange. Some of you heard the female voice. That was the Alexa app, which I unplugged, and it was speaking. Now I had nothing to do with that. It threw me off. So other people did hear it. It was my Alexa app in the bathroom. It threw me off. Okay, this person said, I saw a UFO 7 years ago. I'm not going to get into conspiracy theories. All I just want to say is that it started talking about something, and if there was nobody here, I would have listened to whatever it was saying. But it definitely was saying abstractions or something. Excuse me. But if you're going to be a guest on the show, I need to know why you want to come on here and what your topic is. No, it's not a ghost. We don't have that here. A Blue Bandit, can you please tell me what you want to share? Just so I have a background idea of what you wish to share tonight. And once I hear what people want to share, then I can make a decision as host as whether I bring you on or not. Because the thing is, being the host, I control the show. I can counter 2 somethings with my sister. Give me a minute. Let me get some more apple cider and Blue Bandit. I'll bring you on. Give me a moment. Unless something else happens here. Okay, we're back. We're going to have one more guest for the night, and that's it. Deborah, take care. We're going to bring on Blue Bandit, or Blue Band. Blue Band, you're my last guest for tonight before 2 o'clock. So welcome to the show. Good to have you with us.
Hey, what's going on, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Whereabouts are you located?
I'm in Texas.
Oh, great. And let's go into it. And so when did you have your experience?
Man, this was probably like 2015 or 16.
Okay, a couple of years ago. So what happened with you in this particular experience?
And it's crazy, like I really totally forgot about it because it was like such a weird thing that happened. So like me and my sister were watching a movie, and then all of a sudden, I believe it was in the corner of the room. It was just like a really big light burst, almost like a light bulb, like
Mm-hmm.
being exploded, but no
Yeah.
sound, no sound. And I thought I was tripping, like I didn't even. It kind of scared me. It kind of spooked me, and I thought I was just
Mm-hmm.
like seeing something, like I didn't think she seen it. So like I just stayed quiet.
Was this in your house or outside of the house or outside of your home?
It was inside of the house, inside of an apartment on the corner of the room, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't say nothing, and she didn't say nothing. Then all of a sudden, probably like 30 seconds later, maybe a minute later, she was like, "Did you just see that?" And I was like, "Dude, I thought I was like tripping, I thought I was."
Yeah.
And then we was like wonder like what it was, and like she brought it up again like this weekend, and I was like, it took me a while to remember it. Like I couldn't. I remember something weird happening. I thought I was
Yeah.
in another room or something, but she was like, then I kind of remembered it, and she was like saying she believes that's like some type of encounter.
So when that happened to you, did you have a feeling of any kind of, when you said some type of encounter, did anything happen after that, or was that just a one-time thing at that time? Like,
Yeah, I
was
mean,
there
I've
any
seen.
recurring experiences when it happened? Let's say, like when the thing happened, did it happen again, or something else happened beyond that?
I really believe that I can't even remember that day, man. That was
Hmm.
so far back, but
So
yeah.
as you are now, as an adult, has anything else happened to you from being contacted by extraterrestrials that you can remember?
Yeah, there's been times like when I've been like out in the country, and
Hmm.
I've seen like multiple, probably like at least 500 like flying objects. I mean, maybe possibly could have been like some type of drone thing, but I mean, it just seemed too weird, you know. And then
Yeah.
I've seen also like it don't seem like a helicopter, like but there's a big light coming down from it also. And like yeah, it was late at night.
What year was that? When did that happen?
Probably a couple years later, like
A couple years
2017,
later.
18.
So you've had a couple experiences beyond that, a few years later after that, correct?
Yeah.
And does any of them stand out as being like you're trying to be contacted by some non-terrestrial being or space being or anything or group?
No, not too much, I wouldn't say.
Mm-hmm.
But then like also one time I consumed some mushrooms and
Yeah, well, that
that was
that probably wouldn't help clarify the experience, but so yeah. But if you were to be straight out without any of that stuff, would you say there's not anything where you were like physically visited or where a spaceship landed or a flying saucer and they came up and
nah,
said, here we are?
it didn't get that deep.
No, but you had some
Unfortunately.
experiences. Yeah. Well,
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
I don't know if
honestly,
I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but I did lose my fingers, two of my fingers, when I was like really young.
hmm
Yeah, I
so
came in the live earlier, and you mentioned something about fingers.
yeah, about the other gentleman from Ontario.
Yeah, but I am
Yeah, he
for
had
sure missing two fingers.
he was abducted though. He had been abducted as a child up until the year he was 12 years old.
Oh, that's a wild one.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. You don't know what that light means though? That light burst.
The light burst. I'm trying to read into it. That was inside your home, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah. What did the light burst look like? Do you remember?
not really, man. Kind of spooked
Yeah.
me.
I would try to do some
Yeah,
meditation. Do you ever do meditation at all?
yeah. I think I've just reached that point to where I meditate, and it feels like I'm floating. So that's why I know, I
Yeah.
reached another little higher level.
Yeah.
Because I've always tried to meditate. It wasn't until lately I've kind of stayed a little more woke. I've woken up.
Yeah. No, I gotcha. I would say
Yeah.
focus on meditation and looking back at what you can remember of that explosion of light and seeing if you can get any more details of it. I think something more happened than just that one moment, but I can't get anything from it. Usually, sometimes I can, but yeah, I
I
just
got
can't
you. I
get
got
anything
you.
from it right now.
Yeah, I'll probably have some type of dream connected to it. I always have pretty good dreams at night sometimes.
hmm
But all right, man, I'm fixing to go to sleep, man. I gotta wake up in like a couple hours. But I enjoy
Well,
I enjoy
Blue,
your show. I like listening to it. It's always interesting stuff, man.
hey, thank you. Thank you for sharing your little bit of your story. And I want to thank everybody here. I'll let you go down to get ready to relax and go to sleep. We're going to call it a night here on the show. So thanks, Blue Bandit, and we appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Peace out.
All right. That was Blue Bandit. This has been Encounters. I'm your host, CmdrAleon. We're on usually at 11 o'clock at night. We want to thank all our viewers all over the world for being here. And please do some gifting for the show. If you've not gifted the show yet, become a subscriber. I'm going to set up, so you can also Venmo my Venmo app on my TikTok here. So I'm going to set up 8 of the hats with the mustache, and we're going to do that right now. Let me just do this here. I'm trying to change it. Here we go. We're going to do the hat with the mustache. We're going to do 8 of them. I always like the number 8. It just seems to be the number. And so if any of you want to become a subscriber, become a subscriber. We have right now 23 of 100 subscribers. My Venmo app is on my main profile page, and you can use Venmo to Venmo me Tahar. So 7 more people that give me that hat, they get to see me say the word that I just said to the end of the show. That is a word that some people get to see me say. But you have to actually, Wolf, we're going to bring you on tomorrow night because it's almost 2 on the East Coast. You'll be my first guest. Wolf Food Movement TV will be making you the top guest on tomorrow night's show when we're on at 11 p.m. Eastern. That's 10 p.m. Central, 9 Mountain, and also 8 o'clock West Coast. Thank you, Brad C., for the roses. And I know there's a lot of people out there. If you are considering coming on live with us tomorrow night, Wolf will be the first guest, and then we'll have preceding more people on Thursday night's program. So again, we have now on gifts, we have 7 hats left on the shelf. Guardian, you two, you'll be the second person. Wolf, Guardian, you'll be on my show tomorrow night. It's been a long night, folks. Been a long night. And let's see if we can get to 100,000. We're at 80,000 right now. I want to hit 100,000. Brad C., thank you. Thank you so much for the gimme and the other thing. Thank you for the ice cream cone. We appreciate that very much, Bad. Chad, thank you, Bad Chad, for those gifts. Chris Lee was on Art Bell's show when he was in the desert. One night I found his show at 1 a.m. and I called it and I got on to talk about the Ashtar Command. Yes. Just call you Chad, okay. I'll leave the bad part out. So we do have some gifts left that you can give me, and that would be the hat. The hat is a hat with a mustache. There's a story behind the hat that you might not know about. But every time I get that hat, I say a certain word. And the only time I'll say it normally is when I have that, cowboy hat on with the mustache. It makes me look like I'm Indiana Jones. Tar. Tar. Thank you, Bad Chad. Tar. Tar. Thank you. Thank you for the heart. I appreciate it. See, now you know what happens when I have that hat on. It makes me do things that I don't normally do on the show towards the end of the night. I do have a sense of humor. I mean, I take the mission work and my show very seriously, but I do have a sense of humor. That's one of the beautiful things about being a talk show host, being on radio, even on the radio show, So we have 3 more hats left. We're at 83,000 likes. Everybody tap the screen. Everybody follow me so you can know when I'm on the air live here. Yeah. Irene says, like full on black with no features. Good evening, Irene. Good evening, everybody out there, wherever you are. So I'm taking a deep breath right now because I have 3 hats left. And between the hats, I'm able to just have a normal conversation with you. We're at about 85,000. I don't believe 3 hats are going to go very quickly. If they do, in order for me to say that specific word, starting with a T, it's only with that hat that'll happen, with the mustache. And I don't think anybody has enough to do the hat. I think all the people use their hat money up on TikTok. I do have my apple cider. That I do have. And again, I wish to thank everybody for being out there tonight. You've been great. I appreciate you. We're almost at 100,000. We're at 86.9. I think I can out tap anybody right now. I'm just using one finger. I'm taharing it. You see, you thought you would get me. I'm taharing it. There you go. We're at 87.8. We're almost at 100,000. And we're very close to reaching our goal. We have 2 more hats available on the shelf. They're going very slowly. You think I would say quickly on encounters. But by giving me a hat, you're helping me. Because frankly, I have to cover my head up for some time. I feel very naked right now without the hat on. Do you know how that feels when you don't have a hat on during your show? Shell Kale saying, well, spaceships, the ones on a serious note, the space people, many of the ships are cloaked beyond Earth. So many of the ships can stay very cloaked and you wouldn't even see them. Dark Video's tapping away. Tell April about med beds. Oh, yes. April knows all about the med beds. It's Angie to you. Hey, Angie. You missed April 9th, and you said same for May 25th. Do you see how? How? I do see. So, how far did you go in your space? Oh, we had a great gathering. We saw one object on the 25th. We saw actually a big shooting star. It was beautiful that night over Middlefield, Connecticut at the apple orchard. Oh, yeah. I guess last night I'd have to go back and listen to their story about the med bed they have. I will definitely mention it to April. Yeah. Well, we had a nice gathering on the 25th last weekend. Yeah, it was a C5 event. All right, folks, it's now after 2 in the morning. I really would like to get to 100,000 so I can actually end the show for tonight. And then we'll be on tomorrow night at 11 p.m. You're welcome there, Red One. Thank you. And Australia, good day out there. Good day, Australia. We have viewers all over the world here on Encounters. We're almost at 100,000. I want to thank everybody again for being here. Greta, Spiritual Ninja, everybody out there. And I would like to have 2 people take one of those hats to help gift me. There's 2 hats left. I want to complete that project. We're at 97.3. If you have TikTok coins, the hats are 99 TikTok coins, just to put it in perspective. You know, Toy Stop says, my dad has cancer. He would like to get a med bed. And I think we're going to hit 100,000 in just a minute. You're watching Encounters as we wind down the show here. We have some great guests. I want to thank all my guests for being here. Patrick in Ontario, Chad in upstate New York, all our guests. We appreciate you all. And we made it. Thank you, everybody, for making that a reality. And before we go, if we can have 2 more people take those hats. We have 239 people here. Out of that, I do believe some of you have TikTok coins, those little TikTok-y coins, those invisible coins that people have. So what you do is you go on your gift section, you press the one with the hat and the mustache, and then they say, Tahar, real, Tahar, you. Real Yvette, thank you. I'm at 80% of my goal here. 80%. We have 1 more hat to go, and then I can sign the show off here. RN Nurse, you're hurrying me too much. Thank you, RN Nurse. We appreciate that. So with that said, I am now going to thank you really this time for being on here. In all seriousness, we appreciate your support. Please share with people. Late Freight, good to see you, brother. Tahar. 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 Oh my gosh. With that, me saying Tahar that many times, I get a little bit tired. If someone were doing this to me all night with the hat, I wouldn't be able to sign off. I'd have to be saying Tahar all night on my show. That might be kind of difficult. You wouldn't want to see the commander fall asleep on his show with a hat on. Or maybe you would. I don't know. It's Angie to you. Thank you. I won't do that. I promise. Okay, guys, we're going to catch you later. Everyone have a good night. Be well to each other. Have a good Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow night. Wolf Food and Guardian will have you both on tomorrow night. Take care.